Hey guys, today we'll be making an adorable poofy deco mesh wreath. What you will need, I have a 14-inch wreath ring. I have deco mesh, 6-inch wide deco mesh in pink, white, and green. I also have 2-inch wide ribbon in pink plaid and green plaid, scissors and a rotary cutter, and Chanel stems. Alright, let's get started. Right, so first thing I'm going to do is attach my stems to my ring. There are many methods. I've used them all. I will link them in the description box down below. You just choose whichever method works best for you, depending on what style of wreath you're making. For this specific wreath, I'm going to cut my stems in half. And I'm going to place them on the outer two, inner two, outer two, inner two, alternating all the way around my wreath. Sometimes I add 4 stems to each section. Sometimes I use a larger wreath. It just depends on what you're making. But for this specific wreath, I'm going to add 3 stems to each of my 6 sections. Alright, so I'm going to take my half of a stem to the outer 2 rings and twist it a couple of times. The next stem around the inner 2 rings and twist it. And back to the outer 2 rings and twist it. Then inner 2, and I'm going to alternate all the way around. You could just go outer, inner, outer in each section, but I like alternating. It just makes it flow a little bit better that way. You don't end up with 2 fewer stems on the inner ring than the outer. So I just alternate all the way around. So you can see I have all of the stems in place. Inner, outer, inner, outer, inner, outer, all the way around the ring. Now it's time to start placing our mesh. Sometimes I place 1 roll at a time, sometimes 2 at a time. This time I'm going to go with 3 rolls at one time. It will be a little more difficult, but I think it's going to make a really pretty wreath. So I'm going to layer them one on top of the other. Curl it to a nice little point. Start on my outer ring and twist a couple of times. Pull my mesh. Again, it is a little more difficult because it kind of sticks to itself, but that's okay. I'm going to make a poof and place it in the next outer stem. Now the size of the poof, that is completely up to you. You can go larger, smaller, however you prefer. Just depends on how poofy you want your wreath to be. But you also want to make sure you have enough space to separate each layer, because that's what I'm going to do after I get all of my layers in place. Making another poof. Gonna come to the next outer stem. And I like to go around all the outer ring, then come around the inner ring. You could alternate outer, inner if you want to kind of crisscross zigzag like that. Whatever you prefer. Just twist it and continue on. So I'm going to make all of my outer poofs and then we will move to our inner ring. And a way that makes this a little bit easier is if you kind of dangle your mesh off the side of a table or a chair. Kind of straightens it out for you a little bit and makes this process a little bit easier with 3 rolls. Okay, and I'm coming back around to my first stem. I'm just going to make a poof, untwist, place it in my first stem and twist it back. Then cut away the excess. outer stem is complete, and we're going to go around and do the same steps on the inner ring. Alright, so I have all of my mesh in place. Now I'm just going to go around and separate my layers so that all three colors are visible. And some I will separate up and down just to kind of alternate the color order. You could keep the layers stacked one on top of the other if you choose to do so, but I feel like this is just such a cute and fun, whimsical way to do it, so I like separating my layers. It kind of just meshes and blends all the colors together a little bit better in my opinion. But again, sometimes I do keep the layers stacked and it looks good that way as well. Alright, so it looks so cute and precious already. You could definitely leave it just like this. I've done that before and it makes an adorable wreath. I've done it so many different ways. That's what I kind of love about these wreaths. You can modify them and adjust them to fit your situation, your theme, and the style of wreath you are going for. So this time I'm going to add in some adorable plaid ribbon. And I've cut it into 9-inch long pieces. Just going to fold it in half to find the center. And then I'm going to scrunch it. And then find my stem, place my ribbon, and twist it a couple of times, and then tuck it away. And I can kind of adjust and maneuver. And I'm going to alternate the colors. And sometimes I add in multiple colors to each stem, sometimes one color. You can leave the ends just squared off. You can ribbon cut them at an angle, whatever you prefer. I think I'm going to just leave these squared off. I think that looks so cute with the plaid. Alright, so I've added ribbon to my inner stems. You can also add it to the outer stem. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. Just depends on how I'm feeling. But I think this is such a cute and fun summer wreath. It's so bright and colorful. You can add an adorable sign to the center. You can add in any other additional embellishments you prefer. You can add in tons of ribbon to each section. Sometimes I add even 4 or 5 pieces, just depending on how I'm feeling. So just have fun with it and make it your own. But it's so cute, simple, and easy to do. Modify the color, the style, add in any additional embellishments you prefer.